I think sometimes I try to find ways of saying less. So I wind up saying more to say less. I think that one thing is that people are so afraid of the unknown that they make things that are unknown known. There are things that we predict all the time with great accuracy. Let's take this one. I predict the sun will rise tomorrow. And more than likely, it probably will. I think we can pretty much bet on that. I think that's a safe bet. The sun will rise tomorrow. But we really don't know it's going to rise. We don't have knowledge. We have the expectation of it happening. And pretty much it'll happen. So like I predicted, I'm going to upload this video on YouTube. Will I actually do it? I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But that's life. You don't know. You really don't know what you're going to do in the future. Not even 1 second. But we're always predicting, and we're right most of the time. If you actually think about it, most things we really predict, we're right about it. Because we really predict things that are more mundane, not the big things like who's going to win the Super Bowl, or is the Earth going to get hit by a comet in 2012 or some other stuff. No. But more everyday things like I predicted when I press this button, this computer will boot up. Or when I do this thing, this is going to happen. Or when I upload this video, it's going to work. Most of the time, you're right. Every so often, something doesn't work the way you thought. When you put the key in the ignition in your car, you don't really consciously think of it as I'm predicting something, but you are. And most of the time, you're right. It's going to happen the way you expect. The car will start when you put the key in the ignition and turn it. The video will get uploaded when you go through the procedure you went through before. When I prepare my coffee, there's predicting that this is going to result in having some nice hot cup of coffee. You're predicting things. You make a prediction when you go to the store. If I take this item and I want to buy a Beanie Baby, I have it and I give someone the cash and they'll say, all right, let's say if I give them $100 trillion, here's my $100 trillion bill. I would like to buy this Beanie Baby. Okay, sure. Here you go. I said, can I have some change? Yeah, sure. We'll give you billions and trillions and illions of dollars. Like there's such a word as illions. But that, we predict that it's going to be accepted. Although I doubt that they would accept my Zimbabwe $100 trillion bill. But anyway, the thing is, we always make predictions about what's going to happen. We're always predicting. Forever predicting. And we think that our predictions equals knowledge. Especially when we get in the habit of things happening and the habit of it being correct. If you look at a flame, let's say someone lights a candle that's 30 feet away from you. You see that flame. Your prediction is that if you go over there to that flame and put your hand directly over it, you will feel heat from that fire. So you don't even bother to do it. You already know. You have knowledge ahead of time. But, I would think about what David Hume would say. He would say, you don't know. You think. The only way you know something is by direct experience. When you do something and you have the experience, that's knowledge. So any thought about what am I going to experience in the future isn't knowledge until you have the experience. Which means, in essence, we can't know anything about the future. Our knowledge really is limited. And I think a lot of times we sort of just jump that gap and make what we suspect to be true, what we know to be true. And a lot of times if we do that, we don't really have a big problem. It's okay to predict that your car will start and that the flame will be hot and that you will have running water when you turn on the faucet. And every so often when things don't work out, it's no big deal. I mean, it may be a big deal in the sense that you get upset, but whatever. you get over it, and then you go right back to knowing beyond this limited range in which we know things. But I think about this a lot. The limits. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know if we're going to be alive. And when that ends, that's the end of our experience. You know, I think about my friend who died last week, and I was thinking about, you know, I had saw her a week before, and she seemed perfectly okay. And I didn't think at that moment that this is the last time I'm ever going to see her alive. You know, you just assume the next moment. We always assume the next moment. We assume everything is going to be okay. We don't assume that we're going to hear bad news tomorrow or in the next hour or in the next 10 minutes. We're not ready for it. We're not prepared for it. Most times we're not prepared for bad news. And sometimes we're not even prepared for good news. Sometimes when good things happen, it can be, sometimes good news can be as much of a earth-shattering thing because you're not ready for it. You're not prepared. Everything seems to be in chaos. That's a funny thing sometimes when I think about it, chaos. When do we experience chaos? When all of a sudden there's a shift. You know, our world might actually be quite organized and orderly until something happens. Until something happens. You know, maybe there's a new baby coming into your life. All of a sudden, everything in your house, you have to look at things differently. Maybe it could be positive things, not always negative. Maybe you got a promotion. Or you were offered a better position that paid better money. That's going to change things. Now all of a sudden you got to start organizing things, getting things together, doing things. You see, everything that's orderly can become chaotic when a shift occurs. Whenever there's a shift in life. Someone comes into your life, someone goes out of your life, you meet somebody, the wonderful person you meet, a shift occurs. Order becomes chaos. But then it goes back to order again. And then some other shift occurs. So our lives are really a cycle of order and chaos. Order and chaos. I'm just talking. I'm just rambling on about this. But it's just all these things I've been thinking about. How everything in our lives really isn't just one stable line of things. Where, because I think it would be terrible if we actually knew everything that was going to happen. I think we think of how bad it is when something happens to someone and we feel sad. But you know what? Our minds kind of almost have this thing this built into it. I'm going to just say it that way. To kind of get us back to equilibrium. To try to get us back to balance. After an accident, you try to get back into balance. I remember one time when I had a car. A long time ago, the first time in the early days when I was driving. And I had an accident. It was a minor thing. It didn't even involve another car. I actually ran into a wall. That was funny because I did a really silly thing. I had like a coffee cup sitting on the dashboard. And I was doing something and the cup fell over and I got distracted for one moment. I reached over to grab the cup and accidentally put my foot on the accelerator and boom, ran into a wall. It didn't cause much damage to the car, but still it was kind of shocking to me. And it's like I was nervous after that. But then I kind of got back into balance and I was okay. Whenever something happens, a shift, an accident, or it could be something good, it always throws us off balance. It takes our orderly world and makes it chaotic. And we're always moving in a direction of order. And that becomes what knowledge is for us. Knowledge is order in a way. It's kind of order. The orderly occurrence of things, that the sun will rise tomorrow, that our money will be accepted or not accepted, like the Zimbabwe bill. I actually have my little money collection, so let me take a bill that would actually be accepted. Let's say like a $10 bill, it would be accepted. This is an old one, by the way. Or a $2 bill, which sometimes it isn't accepted. But, you know, we like to think that everything is going to happen in an orderly way. And then new information, sometimes even just information, not even an event. You're now informed of something. A change in a regulation, a rule, a change in procedure. All of a sudden, you know, you were prepared for one thing and now it's something else. It's like when I go to the airport. You know, there's now new regulations about what you have to do when you prepare to travel. You get so used to the old routine, now all of a sudden a new thing happens. Now you have to do something different. Now you have to do that. Now you can't bring this on the plane. Now you can't bring that. And now you can bring this on the plane and do whatever. Rules, regulations, laws, other people's opinions, all these things are always threatening the order. It's always threatening that stableness. We try to keep it stable. It's just something to think about. I'm just throwing it out there. I try not to throw too many shocking things in my own videos out there because, you know, you just get used to things. Like one day I'm going to show up, make a video with me naked or something. I actually do have one where I actually, it's on my other channels, but, you know, that's a different story for a different day. I think I'll keep my clothes on for today. So that's all. Just talking. And a lot of my videos now, from now on, are going to just be me talking. There's no real theme. It's just how sometimes things can create this chaos in our lives. And that we're always moving toward balancing, toward order. We don't move in the direction of going toward chaos. Unless we want to hurt somebody, we try to throw chaos in their life or try to win an argument or something.